listen. So VHS is the found footage series that's had 5 sequels, a Snapchat miniseries, and even got a spin-off named Sirens from one of the first segments. And personally, as a found footage fan, I kind of dig them. Obviously, not all of them are going to deliver, and you'll have some that go from shaky cam to blinky cam, but when it's good, I think it delivers. So with VHS 99 out on Shudder, I'll be ranking all of my favorites out of the shorts from this new one with full spoilers.
Are you fucking filming right now? We have to get her.
So let me explain. Now, starting off with the first one, we have Suicide Bid from Johannes. He's a director who did the recent Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, but he also did 47 Meters Down, which I thought was pretty decent. Here, he only goes 6 feet. Pretty much this follows a girl who's willing to risk it all for one sorority, going out of her way to make what they call a suicide bid video, where she calls out that she only wants them. That said, the sorority requires her to do a dare before she enters them, and that's her entering a coffin in order to be let in, which one, a girl already went missing, which is what they bring up because of this initiation. 2, that girl's name was Guillotine, which is just begging to be the name of a curse. And 3, girl, it's burying you alive. Lily agrees and tries to pull her best Ryan Reynolds from back when he was acting, but you can tell that the director just heard about hazing. Like, he said in interviews that he wasn't too familiar with that college culture. You can kind of tell by the characters, but boy does he know about being trapped. They end up tossing a bunch of elements in there when she's stuck in the coffin, from rain and the worry about her drowning to the mud that starts splashing in. But I found out that the spiders that they used in here, that they threw in there, were real, and it just explains why it's so effective. It does fall into the cameraman cliche that a lot of these found footage movies find themselves in, where she's like panning between herself and the monster to get both reactions, and like, I appreciate it for the movie, but no one's doing this when there's a ghoul breaking in. In the end, the ghost of Guillotine, the original girl, does take Lily, who's trapped in there, in what I felt was going to just be a continuation of the cycle of hazing, but they like give you a twist where it's actually Guillotine and Lily who are teaming up to create a dead girl sorority, and they just cast 3 more. The next one is titled The Gawkers, and it follows a group of Beavis and Butthead bros spying on their next door neighbor. This is also the one that has all of the tie-in transitions that you're seeing throughout, because it's supposed to be that gimmick of like all of these stories were filmed on the same VHS tape. I don't really know how that makes much sense, but either way, it's the main guy's brother who borrows the camera to record his toy soldier stop motion animations, and within those you kind of even get a shout out to Ratma from VHS 94.
Alright, no one else get bitten in half by the rat monster.
Eventually, the younger brother connects with the neighbor and is even going to go over to help her set up her new computer, and that causes the older brother to convince him to hack into it so that they can peer into her camera. I thought the ending was kind of solid. It becomes a spin on the story of Medusa, taking the themes of that classic and then applying them to the digital age and voyeurism. Plus, it has a pretty decent gory one take. My number 3 pick goes to Ozzys Dungeon, which comes from Flying Lotus, who also did all of the music for the film. I also remember his feature Kuso that had a bunch of walkouts back at Sundance, that even the box office people had to double check with you and confirm if you wanted tickets because people kept returning them. Well, I kind of liked Ozzys Dungeon. This feels like 3 subgenres in one, with it beginning as a game show where contestants are fighting to get their one wish from Ozzy, but first must compete in his dungeon. It's hidden, yet it still has this like underlying mention of exploitation, not just from a rigged game show that abuses waivers and, people who are willing to travel from anywhere to compete, but from your own family members who reshape your whole life. That's where we see Donna from the Big D, who came by car with her whole family, only to get Kevin weird on the obstacle course. That's when the movie takes a completely different turn right in the middle, and it becomes Saw. Donna's mama has taken the host captive, and she's pulling a secret in their eyes because the show ruined her baby girl's chances of becoming a star, and now they've recreated the courses for him to do. Eventually, the movie then takes a third twist as the host takes them to Ozzy in order for them to get that one wish, and it's just this Jabba the Hutt looking dude with some practicals that go over the top. We end up getting what's the craziest glitch editing, face melting sequence of the movie as Donna takes out everyone with a smirk since she's tired of being used, and finally gets her one wish as she ends it with the best freeze frame of the film.
I want to be the most famous and best basketball player ever in the world. You don't want to get dunked on, fool.
The next one's titled Shredding. It follows a punk band named Rack, whose members have combined all of their initials for the name, and they've decided to go to an underground venue to test out an urban legend about a previous band that got trampled by their own fans after performing. Since then, this place has been completely abandoned. I like the way that they built their world, even putting out the songs from both bands online. Both of them are original, and I thought they were pretty good. On top of that, the wardrobe actually comes from the filmmakers who threw in their own clothes from the 90s, and I just love the dynamic that the band had with them just half the time messing around with each other and pulling prank after prank until the ghosts come out and play. I thought they had some pretty impressive skills and tension, even though it does over-explain itself by stitching shots that we just saw like 10 minutes ago in order to connect the urban legend. Again, I don't know how all of this could have been the same tape, but they keep trying to rely on that. However, I love the part where the recording continues. As you always question in these movies, why are they still recording? Because one of the ghouls picked up the camera and just kept it going.
Peacefully go to your final resting place!
Before I get to my number one, a big thank you to our channel sponsor, Factor. Besides our horror marathons and weekly screenings, they've been the most convenient meals to have while we're in the middle of festival season. They're the all-in-one meal service that delivers fresh, never frozen meals right to your doorstep, and in 2 minutes, boom, they're ready to go. That means my food's ready before I've even finished a short film at the Chicago Fest, and it's key. It's all chef-prepared food that's sent to you week of in very convenient packaging, and even comes with a variety of options from keto all the way to vegetarian. They have smoothies and desserts. You can even skip a week in case you were going to travel or something, or even play some add-on items in case you wanted to try something new. Pretty much, it's all customizable to fit your dietary needs. So if you're interested in supporting the channel by literally eating some food, then head on over to go.factor75.com/letmeexplain60 and use my code LetMeExplain60 to get 60% off your first box. So get yourself dinner and a movie. Again, that's go.factor75.com/letmeexplain60. Use promo code LetMeExplain60 and you guessed it, you get 60% off your first box.
So tell us why you volunteered to be the vessel, and start off by saying, I volunteered to be the vessel because.
I volunteered to be the vessel because I've always felt like I was destined for something bigger than me, I guess. Does that make sense?
At number one, I have To Hell and Back from the duo of Joseph and Vanessa Winter, a couple who met while doing wallpaper for a student film, and now they're making their own movies. Back at South by Southwest, I had recommended their movie Deadstream, that's now out on Shudder, and that one really surprised me with how well it handled the found footage elements, the influencer culture, and just going above and beyond with the practical effects. So seeing them here and being able to bring the same team was awesome. Here you have a cult who on Y2K are trying to bridge our world with the underworld, and have even had people offer their bodies up as vessels.
Sorry, hold up your release.
Jane McAllister, 48.
We follow the two videographers who are hired by the cult, but accidentally get deported to the other side and literally go through hell and back. They meet Mabel over there, a Smeagol-looking woman who helps guide them through their journey as they encounter some of the best creature effects and practicals behind every corner. Like, they have this thing that looks like Gollum, something they were calling a wormaid. There's a point where one of the dudes is worried about this really big trap, only to get snapped by a little tiny one that was next to him. It's a dozen gags a minute, so it was crazy to hear the team mention that because of the time crunch that they had to film this, that kept them from doing a lot more of their creature bits. So hopefully the storyboards at least, or something gets released later, because the whole short felt like going through a demented Disney ride from your couch. In the end, the two dudes are able to hash out their own problems as they trek through the valley of death and make it through to the other side, only to realize that the cultists did hire them, but to sacrifice them. Thus, they do stay friends till the end. That said, if you stay for the after credits, you'll see Mabel come back into play, since they were able to write her name down as she requested, and now she gets to one-up the previous Lord and have her find a way over.
Mabel. Mabel.
Mabel.
Mabel.
Thank you all for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Which installment, which short is your favorite? Personally, in terms of all of the movies, I feel like VHS 2 and 1 are pretty neck and neck. But the Glitch short in particular will always be one of my favorites. I would highly recommend that one. But I know that they're already in the works for trying to get one out for next year. I don't know what the theming is going to be, but by fall of next year, they said they were going to do another one. On top of that, who knows how many more connections they're going to keep building in this universe, or if, like with Sirens, they end up making one of these shorts into a full feature, that, a whole spin-off that eventually will probably be its own franchises, because that's the way horror goes. But it should be interesting. how they continue to build this franchise, because it's been going strong for over a decade now. Again, a big thanks to Factor, since, we don't really take streaming sponsors in order to give our honest ratings, not just on the streaming services, but also their movies. And recently, I just switched from Shudder to AMC Plus, so I'm paying for that over there because it's like a whole bundle. So VHS 99 was my last movie with the Shudder service before doing the whole bundle pack. And I know it's supposed to combine them all, but it changes things a bit because I'm so new to it, but I won't lie. I prefer the red theming to the blue one for the Shudder profile, because you just can't beat that thumping intro that gets you into the mood for scary movies. But so far it's a decent collection. There's so much more on the AMC Plus bundle that I have to catch up on. But for those of you who do see a difference between the two, or if there's a way to, I don't know, still get the red setting through the AMC bundle, let me know. Other than that, I'm curious to know more about your thoughts on these. If there's any other found footage movies that you think are hidden gems that should be on my radar, please let me know. More horror LMEs to come on top of top movie lists and rankings, all that in the future. But until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or Rotma will get you.
Alrighty then! Who hasn't seen that movie?